Hello, hello, hello. I'm Orlando, and looks like I'm going to be the only one on Late Night Right tonight. Kaz is having some tech difficulties, and it's just very difficult for her to be able to hear. So tonight, I'm going to do a. We're going to show you how to set up a Final Draft script from start to finish. We'll do the title page, and we'll start setting up to start writing the actual script of the complex. So I think right off the bat, we should, ask you to see if you want to share our content, like, subscribe, and we'd be happy to check out any of your questions and see if we can answer them for you. So in the meantime, let us bring up the documents. Alrighty. So I have already opened up a script here, as you can see. And, hang on, let's change this a little bit. Nope, that's not going to work. No, it was better the way it was. Oh well. Okay. Gotta leave it the way it is, I guess. Anyway, so what we have here is our first page on here. And you can see what we have, all these goodies up here. We have the new document and new from the template, which means you can set up for a specific type of template. And that can be TV, book, movie script, uh, all kinds of different types of documents. And that's where you can open something you've already got started. Close your document, your saving options are in here. You can export or back it up in different ways to different places. And of course your print and all of that good stuff. So what I need to do too is get into the title page. So we'll head over to format here, where we have our scene headings, our element settings, your cast list, and your element options that come with the cast list. Highlighted characters, your fonts, your highlighter, alignment, spacing. What else we got here? Alrighty. And let's go to insert. And we have your script notes, bookmark, labels if you choose to use them, images, again, because it might be for a book, your page breaks, non-speaking characters, and editing. Since there's not anything really to edit yet, it's not highlighting much. You've got to paste, find, replace characters, track changes. But what I need to find is for the title page. There we go. Okay, so under the document tab, you have your title page, your headers and your footers, which we don't use much in scripts, your page layout, mores and continues, watermarks, smart type macros, bookmarks, or you can set up so it'll stop you when you get to, if you set it to 120 pages, it's not going to let you go any further than 120 pages, which is your standard feature layout. But I think once most people get used to writing in script format for features, it doesn't take you long to automatically adjust and you know when to stop. you're within those 5 pages before the 120. So, first things first. Let's do up the title page. And the name of the project. Is Complex. And it's by okay. And it's written by Orlando Zabel, Kaz Drysdale. It is not based on anything. And this will be literally... okay, there are no revisions by. At least not by any other writers, anyway. And there likely won't be. Not on this script, anyway. Okay, so current revisions. We'll leave that for now because there is nothing to revise yet. Okay, here is your name of company, if applicable. But you would still add in your address in here, which of course I'm not going to do, and your phone number. Now you're just going to hit your, control save type of thing. And where do we want to save it? We'll throw it on the desktop. Okay. And then we go back to alrighty. There we go. The cool thing is if you click on your Final Draft logo up here on the far top left corner, it'll give you literally everything that you have been working on in the Final Draft program in the last little while, so you can just pick and choose which one you want to have do the playing. And that way, everything will work out great, and you can, sorry, I'm just going to shut off my phone here before it decides to become a problem. That way, everything is set up the way you need it to go. So, when you're going to first start your movie, in your script writing, you're going to go fade in is your number one thing. And then it's automatically going to take you to your header options. Now, we already know. Hang on, let me move this over for a second, and I'll grab our notes. I think it would be helpful if I could do both of these at the same time, eh? No, we don't need an exterior. We changed that. It's going to be interior. And it's going to be in the greenhouse is where we're going to be. And, of course, it's going to be daytime. And that's automatically going to jump you right to your scene. Which is going to be kind of fun. Because, now we just start typing. Oh, there. Okay, first thing you're going to notice is nice clean greenhouse glass. And that's obviously going to be around the whole thing. But your next action, your physical action, is going to be seeing Andrew. Okay, we're going to see Andrew is doing the final touches on a relay pump. Now that's going to be down near ground level. Well, that'll be a separate action all by itself. And then you're going to have Olivia on a sliding ladder, which of course we had written up in our outline. Okay, and she waters seedlings. All right, now the next action is going to be back down to Andrew again. So now you always have to divide these and separate these pieces in between um, literal different camera angles, because you're down here seeing what Dad is doing with the touches, and you're up here seeing what she is doing, and now we have to come back down to where Andrew is. Okay, so Andrew flicks the switch. And then, of course, up top, so what we're going to see here is we're going to be seeing the actual liquid in the water come up, literally up the pipes, and then drip down through the tubing to the plants. And then, of course, now we have Andrew down below. As Olivia climbs down. Okay, now one of the things, I mean, this is fine, this is all good story-wise. There's not a problem here at all, but what we need to do is come up here and throw in some proper introductions. Now, okay, so Andrew is going to be in his 60s. And this is where some of those really good details we had written up in the outline come into play. Okay. Still okay. Upload. Yeah, Inhard. So, and he's doing final wiring touches on the relay pump. So now we have a backstory. We know we know this guy knows how to work, but we also know that he's good at figuring stuff out and putting things together at this all at the same time. Okay, what else do we know? With an easy laugh, which means he's just, all in all, good-hearted, loves to have a good time, enjoys a lot of fun. Doesn't mean he's a partier, but he definitely enjoys a good time. Alrighty. So, while we're on to this, we'll go to Olivia. And for that, I am literally going to go down. Yeah, you can't see what I'm doing because obviously I'm running through on the outline. And grab all the details we had for these guys so that we know the whole setup, who she is, why she is, and why, well, and her general nature would be the thing. Well, yep, gonna have to run this way down to the bottom. Okay, there we go. I'm getting to the details here now. We did end up with like 13 pages. Alrighty. Here we go. Let's pop this in here. And of course, she's going to be in her 60s as well. Okay, we don't need this part. Okay, so in the end, Olivia, 60s. Alright, that didn't jump up. Wordsmith, activist. herbalist and enforced naturopath, sustainable organic grower, perched on a sliding ladder hooked up to the top row of the plant pots. And she waters seedlings up a wall of tubes and troughs. So, I don't know. What do you get out of Olivia? Um, Basically, um, she learns and she uses. She applies what she learns. And obviously she has fun doing it. Because, she's definitely laughing when the water actually comes through. So, that makes it easier for the lineup of how everything is going to go here. Okay, gotta move this up out of the way. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much everything in this scene. Of course, depending on how a director decides to play it, it could end up being a 3-minute entry, start to the movie, or it could be a 10-minute, depending on how they decide to show all of the, uh, maybe show the different working parts within the greenhouse, stuff like this. This is part of the reason why you have to detail some of these things, is so that a director can get an actual visual of what the scene is supposed to look like. And that works out usually quite well. Unless, of course, a director has seen exactly this kind of thing, but seen it in a different kind of way, maybe. A different type of setup. And that works too. It just all depends on how you're going to lay it out in the end. And, well, how much time you have to actually play with. But these specific pieces of the scenes are the ones that really need to be into the script to describe and to show what it is you're actually doing in this scene and what is important in this scene for what's going to be happening in the future within the movie. Alrighty, so now we go on to exterior. And you'll notice that that just dropped us down an extra line, because there's 3 lines from when you finish a scene. There's 3 lines before you hit the next scene header. And here it's going to be exterior. Should we say parents' house or Andrew's house? How about parents? And that will be daytime. And you'll notice again 3 elements: exterior, parents' house, day. Up here, interior, greenhouse, day. Now that's the only thing you ever put on a header. You don't need anything else. Anything else you need to add, it comes down underneath. And you're either going to insert something that's a picture, if that's the way you want to run with it, but it's not a good idea. You're going to superimpose, which means on top of the filming, it'll show a place, a date, that kind of thing would go in there, and then you just go right into what's happening within that scene. So now we have Michael. Nope, 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 nope. I lied. The next one is exterior town. And so what we're gonna have here is drone shots. And I am going to specify the 10-minute. There we go. So that's what you're physically going to be seeing from a drone shot. And literally, as you can see here, the the drone shots are exactly what they look like. You've got a drone up there. You're seeing the picture of what the drone is actually seeing on the ground. Um, in the olden days, before there were drones, we used to call those crane shots. If we were lucky, you could get a helicopter to actually do those shots, but that's really expensive. Unless you happen to know somebody who has a helicopter, but that's pretty rare, right? And so, alright, so you're going to see the bottlenecks and everything else, and then obviously you're going to get closer, or the picture is going to zoom in, because now we're going to see major surveillance cameras. And some of the cameras turn and they point up at the drone. So both of these, just being able to see the surveillance cameras, shows any director that you're going from long range drone shots where you're seeing big chunks of the town down close enough so that you can see that there are actually surveillance cameras there, and then now you're getting closer because you have to physically see one camera at a time turn and shift. And now we're still exterior. Now we have exterior. And see, you'll notice here, Final Draft saved what I had typed before, so I can just click it. Mind you, if you're a fast typer, you can just do that instead. You don't even have to worry about clicking it. Alrighty. Let's do this a little bit easier this time. Because what I'm going to do is copy and paste off of my outline right onto the script. That's what you get. They are not always going to be in proper form, but it does, most of the time, it does change the actual lettering, so it becomes the same. So let's see if I can actually get this to move over. Nope, it's not gonna. So, continue typing. Let's see if this is gonna work this way. Whoa, that's taking it way over there. Nope, it's gonna keep it. It's gonna keep it in the book form that it had before. So, but at least this key has it here, right here, so I can just type directly off of it. Okay, so as we know from the story, Michael has earbuds in, so of course he knows when his phone bleeps while he's cutting lawn, and he pulls out and checks the phone, and then he stops. He stops cutting. Alrighty. So these ones are used up. Okay. So now what we're going to see is the blue sky. We're going to see trees. Because obviously he does not see anything. Alrighty. So Michael's going to return to cutting the grass. So of course, once he's been cutting the grass for a little bit, then a drone. Goes over Michael. Now you'll notice that this is a completely different angle. All of these different pieces are different. This is on the ground, earbuds in, Michael's cell phone, all that. He checks it, he stops cutting for a minute, and he looks up at the sky, and then you have to actually show the sky. And you have to see what he is literally seeing. Alrighty. There we go. I was wondering why there was an extra space in there. Alright. And then we see Michael goes back to cutting the lawn, so we're back on the ground level again. And that's when we go, obviously, to a wider view. And a drone goes over, we see the actual drone go over top of Michael, go over his head. Alrighty. So now we know that, there's a truck and a second and another vehicle in the driveway. And then what we see is, let's take that upstairs first. So the drone is going to drop the magnetic tracker. So we're gonna see the drone actually release it first. Oopa. And then we're gonna see the actual magnetic drone tracker land on the second vehicle. Okay, now let's get rid of these ones that we already used. Okay. And of course, then we're going to go back up into the sky again. Okay, so we're going to see it loading a second tracker. At the same time, or shortly thereafter, we're going to see the drone bank around. So now we know this drone is coming back for another pass. We know there's two vehicles in the driveway. The drone has only hit one. Or rather, the magnetic tracker. Alrighty. Weird. I guess it's wanting to take the other. It's thinking I'm going to another scene. Huh. That's weird. So, of course, while this is happening, the lawnmower stops. Now, this gives a director an option to literally do close-up on the lawnmower, or a a full shot of Michael and the lawnmower and him turning it up, shutting it down, and the lawnmower actually stopping. Alrighty. And of course, now that Michael has stopped the lawnmower, we don't even have to say he hears it. He just looks up. And the drone itself takes a snapshot. And then it banks away out of view. And the reason for all of this, this is what you're actually gonna see. Because from here, we're going to take this to a bank of surveillance monitors. So, of course, on that bank of surveillance monitors, we're going to see, there we go. Okay. Since we never did. Yeah, we did. We did. Hang on. Alright. We do have this. Because we're going to make this one shot. This one individual shot is going to go to that corporation. That's what we're going to do. Oops. I had it and then it disappeared. Oh well, I'll get it back. There we go. And we're just going to have one monitor. There we go. On a monitor, we're going to see a still shot of Michael looking up from a fresh cut lawn. And this monitor is inside the Imagy Incorporated that we figured out last week. Because we also do have a bank of computers that we're going to see shortly. The, whole pile of pictures of things happening around town. And that's going to give us the stuff from what's happening in the town, and that bank of monitors is going to be Interior Town Surveillance Office. How's that for generic? Alright, now here is where we're going to show all these different drone shots. Or not drone shots, but the cameras seeing the drone, seeing where it's moving to, and people that are within that company, watching, that are sitting there watching those monitors to see, make sure what's going on around town. That's where they're gonna make a comment about, whose drone is that? And well, they don't much care. Okay, so what we have inside here is a okay, a bank of surveillance monitors all playing different parts of the town. And then, because we're going to focus in just on one, and that's all you need. On one monitor, a drone in a residential area. Because that's all you're going to physically see in the actual show is that one monitor, and that's why it needs its own action line. Because you've gone from this big bank of surveillance monitors, and you've brought it down to one. Okay, now we're going to the center here, because now we finally have some dialogue. Although there's likely to be dialogue being put into the first scene of the whole thing, because we don't want it to be just silent. There's got to be a little bit more to it than that. Okay. Okay, so, well, we'll just call the guy Surveillance 1. And he wants to know, who does that belong to? And Surveillance 2 says, not ours. And that literally finishes out that scene completely. And we're going to continue doing it the same way. Because now again, we're going to be exterior, parents' house. There we go. And then we're gonna, actually we could go backyard. There, now that'll save it. You have to remember to go to the end of your physical line here. Hit your enter, and that'll save everything that you have put in there. So now next time if I type in parents' house again, it's going to give me the option of just the parents' house. But it's also going to give me parents' house backyard as a choice. And then you just choose which one you want it to be. That's how this particular program works. Yeah, Final Draft is pretty good for that. Right, so here we just continue on that, you know. Yep, Michael locks the back shed. But while he's doing that is when the bad guys jump him, so we're not going to make that. No, we got to drive up first. And we don't say the bad guys, we say a delivery van. No. So, if a delivery van's gonna drive in, we have to do, again, exterior. And parents' house. There we go. See? There's your choice. Right there. And the delivery van's gonna pull in. But the next scene we're gonna see is going to be again in the backyard. Parents' house, backyard, daytime. Now we're gonna see the bad guys. How many do we want? 3. Do we want them to be? No, we're just gonna see them grab them from behind. Because now we have to take them back to the front. They're going to haul them into the delivery van. And yeah, we could do this from outside or inside, so let's do it in. Okay, so we see one of them grabs Michael's keys and jumps out. So now we're going to go exterior straight. Okay, so the delivery van pulls out of the driveway and is followed by Michael's truck. Alrighty, there you go. And this is literally the way we are going to continue through the whole script as we go. And already they've just barely gotten out of the front yard here, and we're on to page 3 of the script. Now, this hasn't even taken half of the outline. So if we got 13 pages on the outline, we're already looking at, if it follows in the same vein, that would already be like 26 pages of script. But we do know that a lot of those scenes are going to be a lot longer and a lot more in-depth and more detail. Plus, dialogue takes up a lot more space. But the whole point here, the way this is all lined up and set up, is literally to make sure that you have space in between each of the different elements when you're going from one location to another, to another, to another, to another. On the script, they should be easy to find. And any of your action lines, even if it's a long one, shouldn't be any longer than 4 lines. If you can't describe what is happening in this one visual in 4 lines, if it takes you more than that, then you need to be starting to cut that up and chop it up into different angles, where you're going to see things from different angles. You can't just go straight on. It just doesn't move well in the movie itself, because only so much can happen right within that camera spot, so that you can have, mind you, if you're panning this way or that way, or you're following something, well, that allows you to break. And that makes your action sections actually move and be action. Because otherwise, you just have a big block of reading and details that all have to happen all at the same time, but they're not happening at the same time because it's taken you so many lines to say it. I mean, every part section of your script or every section of your page is a portion of a minute. You know, all of this here that happens here. You know, the lawnmower from the lawnmower stopping to the delivery man. You know, them grabbing Michael's key and jumping out of the van. All happens within 1 minute. And no, we don't need to know exactly what kind of van they have. We don't have to know exactly what kind of truck someone has. It's just a truck. Whatever truck you can get, you'll get. You know, unless of course there's some dealership comes to you and say, hey, I'll promote my company by using my truck, which would be just terrific and awesome, but that doesn't very often happen. Although it would be nice. It would be very nice. So this is where I'm going to leave it today, because this kind of thing set up this way um, will give you a much better snapshot of how you have to, as a screenwriter yourself, break down the individual elements that are within your scene. And the whole point of them being called action lines is that they have to move. They have to be physically action, which means movement. Alrighty. Yep. I think that'll definitely do for today. That was a good one. I quite enjoyed setting this up. And I am just really happy to be doing the actual script work myself. As fun as the outline might be, I have a whole heck of a lot more fun just running it to script. Because I have a lot of fun doing that. More than anything else. Alrighty. So we will take that down. We're going to save that because we don't want to lose any of those goodies. And if you're still watching and you're still liking our work, for sure, give us a share, give us a like, and it'll be awesome to see you guys in the next one. Yeah, everything you help us with makes a difference all the way through, because then the algorithm starts to pick us up. Then maybe we'll get some more people who actually want to come and learn how to write. And that would be the coolest thing altogether. So you guys have yourself a great week, and we'll see you